Have I ever told this story? Have I ever told this story about this luggage that oh my god, this story is actually fucking crazy. Okay, so this bag, I had 2 bags again when I lived in Japan. Obviously, when I lived in Japan, I came back home and I had 2 suitcases, obviously, because I had so much shit. Because I was living there for a while and I was coming home. And then, so my layover was in, it was in Manila in the Philippines. So I like went out and I had a lot of fun for like a day in Manila, and then I was getting ready to go home. So, you know, I was like hanging out, going places. Manila mentioned. Yeah, I went. I was like hanging out in the Philippines and I was like eating really good food and I was hanging out. And then I go to the Manila airport and I was ready. And then that was when this happened, okay? So I go there and then I had a lot of fun. I check in my bags. You know, they call me down. They're like, Miss Pendora, please come. I was like, oh god. I go. This lady takes me in an elevator and takes me to the basement. She took me into the basement where they load the suitcases onto the plane. And they were like, Miss Pendora, please come. And I was like, okay. And then I went into the basement where they were like loading the bags. And that's when they cracked open my bag. And I was like, shit. And then, so a lot of the people who were loading the bags were like younger guys, and they're all like standing around my suitcase, and I was like, shit, they're gonna see my premier. Oh well. And I was just standing there and I was talking and whatnot, and I'm like just trying to, you know, I'm just like, you know, just pretend it's not happening. And then they closed my suitcase. Okay, basically what happened was they closed my suitcase, and then there was like this plastic bag near me. They're like, do you want this? And I was like, no. And there was like a plastic bag with someone's pants in it. And they're like, is this yours? And I was like, no. And they're like, are you sure? We can open your suitcase and put it back in. And I was like, no, they're not my pants. Like, I don't know what this plastic bag is with pants in it, but it's not mine. But they were so insistent. They were like, it's okay if these are your pants. We'll put them in. And I was like, no, it's not mine. So I kept telling them, and they were like, okay, we'll get rid of the pants. And I was like, okay. And then they were like, okay, Miss Pendora, you can go. And I was like, okay. So they took me out of the basement and brought me back to my gate. And I was sitting at my gate, and they were like, you can't leave anymore. And I was like, why not? And they were like, you have to stay here. And they like they wouldn't let me leave my gate, and I was there for like 2 hours, and they were like, if you have to leave, you have to let one of us know. And I was like, oh my god, okay. So I was like sitting there, and like they were staring at me, and I was so scared. And then I got on my plane and I went on my flight, and I was like, see ya. And I went home. And then I get home, I'm picking up my luggage, and my suitcase is fucking broken. First of all, they didn't even zip my luggage closed. They just duct taped the they just duct taped my whole suitcase closed. They didn't zip it. They just duct taped it closed. And then the way that they duct taped it, I was like, what the fuck? And then I picked up my suitcase and I turned it around, and they fucking duct taped the pants onto my suitcase. They didn't even put it inside. They put the pants on my suitcase and wrapped my whole suitcase in duct tape. And I was so mad because I swear to God, they weren't my pants. They were just some random pants that they had. And I remember standing there in the airport, and I was so angry that I like ripped the pants off of my suitcase and I threw them into the garbage at the airport, and I left. And my parents were like, what happened to your suitcase? And I was like, I don't know. But it was probably the funniest fucking memory I've ever had at an airport ever, because it was so crazy. It was so funny. That's really sus. Well, I threw them away, but it was pretty fucking funny. I was really mad though. I remember being so angry when I saw the pants. I was like, fuck, these fucking pants are mine! And I like ripped it off of my suitcase and I threw it into the garbage, and I swear the airport security at my home airport was like, is she okay? And then I went home, and then I had to throw away the suitcase because it was broken. But it was so funny. Anyways, yeah.